You are now listening to the Jay Porks Experience. Listen free on iTunes or at theandydareshow.com. Now, here's Jay.
Yo, what is the word, people? Welcome to another action-packed edition of the Jay Porks Experience. I'm Jay Porks. With me, as always, on the other side of the glass, making sure this is a well-oiled podcast machine. Every week, the ever-popular Nobody. As every week, I have things to get to. I sound a little excited. That's because I was smart enough to have 10 iced coffees before I left work, because I knew that I was coming home to record the podcast, and I wanted to be on. And I'm on. Day late. Sorry about that. You know what happened? Well, you care so much. You know, this party of 35 people called up my restaurant, and they're like, listen, we want to have a party on a Monday. I don't work on Monday. But the guy on the phone asked my boss, he said, listen, you know, we need Jay to work the party. So I guess I'm not too bad. I'm not as bad at that job as I thought I was. But anyway. We'll get to sex changes and stuff. But first, this has been a rough week for me. We're going to start off with the eulogy for the Rangers here. That sucks. In case you don't know, Rangers lost Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals to the Tampa Bay Lightning and are not going to the Stanley Cup Final. By the way, before I get into this little rant, it's Stanley Cup Final with no S and NBA Finals with an S. So it's not the Stanley Cup Finals, it's the Stanley Cup Final. It's the NBA Finals. And for some reason, they have 2 weeks off. Alright, it's been a rough year. Rough year as a Ranger fan. So close last year. The Rangers go to the Cup Final last year. Run into the LA Kings. Now, going into that series last year, I wasn't feeling too confident. I thought the Kings were very fast. I thought we wouldn't be able to hang with them. And we obviously didn't. Last year, after we lost the Stanley Cup Final, after the Kings were celebrating, there's a shot of Henrik Lundqvist in the locker room, not taking his pads off with his head in his hands, and you feel so bad for him. This is 2014 I'm talking about. You just feel bad for him. You know, he gave it everything he got. Gave it his all. Not this year. And I know that you're all going to tell me that Henrik Lundqvist is the best goalie in the world, and I am aware of that. I believe he's the best goalie in the world. I believe he's the best goalie in the league right now. I mean, you know, there's probably 3 guys, if you want to have a discussion, there's 3 other guys who you want to add in there, that's fine. Different styles of goaltending, whatever. You think Lundqvist gets all the hype because of the New York bias? That's fine, except in the world, if you've noticed, New York bias is over. There is no New York bias. Now, I'm not saying that Cam Talbot should have started any of the games in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that when you go 2 games, when you give up 6 goals in Game 2 and 6 goals in Game 3, that when we're coming on Game 4, I have to have the discussion on whether I should sit this guy. For the goalie that was 21-9 when Lundqvist was hurt, should I start the goalie who was hot during the regular season and got us playing, and, you know, we ended up starting to play well when he came into goal? Again, not saying that the Lundqvist shouldn't have been playing. I'm just saying that you have to have that conversation. That I can't be told, like I said to some customer, I said Cam Talbot was playing good, and the customer goes, that's stupid to even suggest sitting Lundqvist. I'm not suggesting it. I'm not saying that this is what the Rangers should have done. I'm saying that when you give up 12 goals over a course of 6 periods, a discussion needs to be had. A discussion needs to be had about what's going on. A couple of years ago, the Blackhawks did it. They sat Crawford for Game 6 and they came back and won Game 7 or some shit like that. Or it was Game 5. Crawford wasn't playing well. They sat him. I'm not talking about benching the guy. I'm talking about one game. Because we were down 3-1. Well, we were down 2-1 at that point. You got to wake up the team. Meanwhile, the Rangers have a bunch of players that can't score goals anymore. This is every time. I'll go back the years, whether it's Marian Gaborik, whether it's Brad Richards. This year it's Rick Nash and Martin St. Louis. Everybody we get doesn't score goals. This is like when the Yankees win 96 games and they go into the playoffs and they get shut out 3 games in a row and they're out. And you're like, what the hell? They were the best team in baseball. Well, that's what happened. The offense didn't happen. If Rick Nash and Martin St. Louis are on this team next year, the team's not making the playoffs. Would Rick Nash score in the playoffs? 1 goal? Last year when he wasn't scoring goals in the playoffs, all the commentators were telling me how he was doing other things well on the ice. Okay, I've never played hockey, so, I'm just going to watch. I don't see these other things he's doing well, but if the commentators are telling me that, then I'm going to believe it. Okay. That wasn't the case this year. And you got Ryan Callahan going to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, come on. And here's the thing. Isn't it weird that every goalie the Rangers faced looked like Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur combined? Why is that? It's not that every goalie got good. It's that the Rangers can't score goals. You have to score goals. And when you score 5 goals, you can't give up 6. I walk into work the next day. So, how about those Rangers? Do I look like somebody who wants to fucking talk about it? That's another thing. I know sports is all fun and games. Not with me. It's not fun with me. Because my teams don't win. It's fucking painful for me. I think I said this last year when the Rangers lost. Great. Now I get to wait for football season. Being a Jets fan, this is the best time to be a Jets fan. This is the best part of football season right now. Because the Jets can't lose now. It's not like on Sunday the Jets are going to lose. They're guaranteed to not lose on Sunday. Because they're not playing. I'm broken over over the Rangers thing. And listen to this. It's Blackhawks, Tampa Bay. If it was Rangers, Blackhawks, me and Andy could have did like a 2-hour podcast on hockey, because he's in Chicago, I'm in New York. Yeah, it could have been so good. It would have been 2 original 6 teams. Nope. Ruined. Because I root for a team that can't score goals. And B, when my team scores 5 goals, the best goalie in the world gives up 6. And I'm not even talking about that goal that Game 7, the first goal that just floated through his legs. I'm not talking about that one because it was already over when we got to Game 7. It was already over. I know we won Game 6. Yeah, momentum. Bullshit. The longer that series went, the less of a chance we had to win. Especially after you come back from 3-1 the last series. 2 years in a row. Round 1, we face Pittsburgh. Crosby, Malkin. First of all, I thought the NHL has like a $30 million salary cap. How are 2 of the top 3 players in the league on the Penguins on the same line? Doesn't make any sense to me. The salary cap in the NHL is like $5 million. It's not $5 million. It's like between 40 and 60, something like that. It ain't much compared to the other sports. How can they afford to have those players on their team for all these years? Okay. And then you move on. Then we moved on to the Capitals, the Washington Capitals. Alex Ovechkin. That's that third guy who's one of the top 3 players in the league. Another best player in the league. And he hits. He's not like Crosby, who cries like a little bitch. And their goalie is Brandon Holtby. Holtby, another one, looking like Brodeur. Not because all these guys discovered skill on how to be a goaltender when they saw the Rangers. The Rangers aren't scoring goals. They haven't been scoring goals in months. And then you got Ben Bishop for the Lightning, who didn't give up a goal in Madison Square Garden during Game 7. Game 7 at the Garden, by the way, that is the first time in the history of the franchise that the Rangers have lost a Game 7 at home. First time ever. And the Rangers are an original 6 team. They were formed in like 1912. Never. Lundqvist. Lights out in Game 7. Not so much. So I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, yeah, well, we'll get him next year. No, we won't. You know how hard it is to get back? And I said it last year. Do you know how hard it is to get back? And we almost got back. Not a chance. And here's another question I'm going to ask. How old is Henrik Lundqvist? Is he getting better? He's not getting... I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you. This is a question I have for you. Is Henrik Lundqvist on the upside of his career or on the downside of his career? I don't think his best years are in front of him. Just like LeBron James. Is LeBron James getting better? LeBron James isn't getting better. He's still the best player in the NBA, but he's on the decline. He's not going to get better than he was. He's only going down from here. So, for the last 5 years, the Rangers have been making playoff runs. And I hope it's not, but it seems like it's over. Break up the team. Get rid of the old guys. Keep Kreider. Keep Hagelin. Keep Hayes. I like Dan Boyle. I like Yandel. I like these guys. And Zuccarello being hurt, that's the guy that scores goals, so that really hurt us. And he practiced before Game 7, like in a non-contact sweater. So if we would have made it to the final, he may have been available in one of these games. But didn't happen, so focus on baseball, everybody. Really broken up about this. So don't tweet me joking around. Ha ha, when's the next Ranger game on? That will get you blocked and reported. True story. Speaking of true stories, moving on from the Rangers. So Bruce Jenner is a woman now. Call her Caitlyn. I'm not as up in arms about this as everybody else. I mean, people are either up in arms about a man turning into a woman. They're either, they don't like that because I guess they don't want people to be who they want to be. They want people to be who they want them to be. It's either people are mad about that, like legitimately, or they're mad that people like me don't care. Like they think like the transgender awareness should be a thing. And I think that everybody should know about it. And I think that everybody should be informed. Me personally, I watch Orange is the New Black. So I know about transgendered because there's a chick who plays one of the characters and she's a transgendered character. So I'm aware. I've seen one before. I don't feel the need to keep talking about it because it doesn't bother me. To each their own. You can do that. Like if I'm not tweeting about Bruce Jenner, it's an important issue, but it shouldn't be because we should all be okay with this. Furthermore, so now that I've clearly stated that I'm okay with it, I'm going to make fun of it a little bit. Not making fun of it. But here's the thing, Caitlyn Jenner. If that is your real name. Here's the thing, Caitlyn Jenner. Cool story, bro. Seriously, no, cool. But I'll be more impressed when you front a punk band. Not only that, but when you front a band with a penis, tell the band that you no longer want your penis. That band stays together, stays with you, and you record an album without a penis with that band, and then go on tour opening for Bad Religion. When you do that, I mean, then you've done something. Laura Jane Grace beat you to the punch. That's another reason why I knew about transgendered things. Transgender was in my mind since Transgender Dysphoria Blues. It was one of the best albums that came out last year. It was a really great album. And even if I don't, understand, changing genders, it's a great record. It's a great record. So, why is it that Caitlyn Jenner is so brave? Well, no, I'm still Laura Jane Grace is brave. Caitlyn Jenner spent some money to be happy, to be what she wants to be, or he wants to be, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care, meaning like it doesn't affect me. I'm glad. Family's gonna stand by her? Good. That's great. Weird that you're conservative. It's weird that he or she is conservative. Crazy talk. Did anyone see the meme? I got it from Elmo Kirkwood. Did anyone see the meme? It says, when George Bush was president, this was a man. Thanks, Obama. Great. It's perfect. Because everything is Obama's fault. Obama did everything. I've also got one more thing, but transgender equality. Transgender people should be able to do that and leave them alone. Well, not leave them alone, like don't ignore them, but like treat them normal, treat them like humans because that's what they are. When people want to start transforming from humans to animals, maybe then I'll have issue with it. Want to be Caitlyn? That's cool. Nice makeup job. Cool story. My tits used to be bigger than that, by the way. And I want to get into one thing really fast. Not really fast, but Silk Road. Silk Road is a website. Silk Road was a website that was started to, so basically people can buy drugs online. That's not like, I'm not, what is it called? I'm not condensing the issue. That's what it was. Silk Road is a place where people can buy drugs on the internet using Bitcoin. Now, after an FBI investigation and court, Silk Road creator Ross Ulbricht sentenced to life in prison. Let me repeat that. Life in prison. I understand that this is a serious, serious crime. And I understand that Bitcoin, because you're using Bitcoin, you have to buy Bitcoin with something. It's online currency. So it's some sort of way around like PayPal and credit cards and federal government type stuff. Like you buy it with your PayPal, so you have Bitcoin, so you can spend Bitcoin anonymously. And it's a certain other dollar amount. So I don't... Again, I'm glad I don't know about this. I've never bought drugs from Silk Road. Never bought drugs on the internet at all. Ross Ulbricht conceived of his... Alright, here we go. Ross Ulbricht conceived his Silk Road black market as an online utopia beyond law enforcement's reach. Now he'll spend the rest of his life firmly in its grasp, locked inside a federal penitentiary. On Friday, Ulbricht was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for his role in creating and running Silk Road's billion-dollar anonymous black market for drugs. Judge Catherine Forrest gave Ulbricht the most severe sentence possible, beyond even what the prosecution had explicitly requested. The minimum Ulbricht could have served was 20 years in prison. So he was looking at 20, and this judge decided, you know what, you're never going to see the light of day again. Here's the quote. The quote, this is what the judge told Ulbricht while sentencing. The stated purpose of Silk Road was to be beyond the law. In the world you've created over time, democracy didn't exist. You were the captain of the ship, the dread pirate Roberts, she told Ulbricht as she read the sentence, referring to his pseudonym as Silk Road's leader. Silk Road's birth and presence asserted that its creator was better than the laws of this country. This is deeply troubling, terribly misguided, and very dangerous. In addition to this prison sentence, listen to this, Ulbricht was also ordered to pay a massive restitution of more than $183 million. $183 million? What the prosecution had estimated to be the total sales of illegal drugs and counterfeit IDs through Silk Road at a certain exchange rate over the course of its time. What? This guy made there was $183 million in drugs getting sent to each other online? Damn! Ulbricht had stood before the court just minutes earlier in navy blue prison clothes, pleading for a lenient sentence. I'm changed. I'm not the man I was when I created Silk Road, he said as his voice grew hoarse with emotion and cracked. I'm a little wiser, a little more mature, and a little more humble. Yeah, you better take that humble pie to prison with you, buddy. Quote, I wanted to empower people to make choices in their lives, to have privacy and anonymity, Ulbricht told the judge. I'm not a sociopathic person trying to express some inner badness. Ulbricht's sentencing lightly puts the final seal on the saga of Silk Road, the anarchic underground market the 31-year-old Texan created in early 2011. At its peak, the dark website grew to a sprawling smorgasbord of every narcotic imaginable. Before Ulbricht was arrested in a public library in San Francisco in October of 2013. 18 months later, he was convicted in a Manhattan court on 7 felony charges, including conspiracy to traffic in narcotics and launder money, as well as a kingpin charge, usually reserved for leaders of organized crime groups. Come on, man! He's a kingpin? Tony Montana? 2 of those 7 charges were deemed redundant and dropped by the prosecution just days before the sentencing, so that the technical charge, that technical change to the charges didn't lessen Ulbricht's mandatory minimum sentence or ultimate punishment. Ulbricht's defense has already said it will seek an appeal in his case. This is key. This is a key part that I want you to listen to. They want to call for a new trial that will be based on recent revelations that 2 Secret Service and Drug Enforcement Administration agents involved in the investigation of Silk Road allegedly stole millions of dollars of Bitcoin from the site. One of the agents is even accused of blackmailing Ulbricht and of allegedly selling him law enforcement information as a mole inside the DEA. That sounds great. That sounds all above board. And there's one more quote I want to read here. First of all the parents All the parents who are coming out, who are quoted in this article, blaming this guy because their kids are dead, learn how to be a parent. Okay? Parenting comes first. Everyone wants to pass the buck. Nobody wants to be a mom or a dad anymore. If you don't want your kids to do drugs, maybe you should make sure that they don't. You should inform them. You should be a better parent. You should talk to them about it. And I gotta just say this. The defense argued that Silk Road had actually reduced harm in the drug trade by ensuring the purity of the drugs sold on the site through reviews and ratings, hosting discussions on safe drug use, and giving both buyers and sellers an avenue to trade in narcotics while avoiding the violence of the streets. I like that. That sounds like the future to me. Listen, I'm sorry. This guy did break the law. Yeah, and he should go to jail. This guy didn't... I don't see anywhere in this where he sold any drugs. 6 individuals who claimed had died from drug overdoses, drugs purchased from Silk Road. 6. There was, let's go back to this number. How many billions? There was 1.8, 130, where's the fucking number? Jesus Christ. Over $100 million in drugs, $183 million. Sorry about that, guys. $183 million in drugs was sold, and 6 people died. 6. That's not so bad. It's always somebody else's fault. That's this country these days. It's always somebody else's fault. Well, I wouldn't have got high if he wouldn't have sold me the drugs. Huh? What? But you still wanted to get high. Like, it's not like the pusher on the street. Hey, man, you need something? You need something? Like, it's not that. That's not what this is. Put it this way. I don't know how to do Silk Road, and I am a fan of substances. More importantly, I'm a fan of not leaving my house to retrieve substances. I think this is the future. Listen, let's repeat this paragraph right here. Silk Road reduced harm in the drug trade by ensuring the purity of the drugs sold on the site through reviews and ratings. Like, if you're going to be a heroin addict, wouldn't it be safer for you to get actual heroin? I mean, nobody should do it. But if you were to do it, like, for instance, I smoke marijuana. I buy my marijuana from the street. Is that safe? No, that is not safe. I'm going to get robbed. I'm going to get some stuff that's not real weed sometimes, probably. It could happen. Anything could happen. You could be poisoned and shit. Now, if you have a message board where people are like, hey, have you bought from this guy? Is he good? Yeah, he's good. Yada, yada, bum, bum, bum. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of people getting high, and nobody's on the street looking like a fucking zombie. I know that, like, the momentum is building to legalize weed. Well, legalize them all. Legalize everything. Legalize everything, and then just, if people have a problem with drugs, they can go to drug rehab and clean up and come out. Well, 6 people ruin this for the rest of the world for $138 million a product. $138 million. Damn. So I saw this yesterday, and I just had to mention it. And anybody not anybody, but in this article, because I don't want to accidentally say something about somebody I know, if I know anybody. But listen, I mean, the thing is that if you're gonna go to court and hope the guy from Silk Road goes to jail for life, I mean, you're gonna sit there and cry about your kid that died because you weren't a good parent? Your kid made it to Silk Road. You don't check the browser history? You don't block that site if you think that your son's a drug addict? Furthermore, this guy's going to jail for the rest of his life? He killed 0 people. He raped 0 people. I don't see any reason that this guy should be in jail for the rest of his life. Ban him from the internet. They do that with people, don't they? Without the possibility of parole? I understand, it's really bad. Listen, selling drugs on the internet is not good. I don't even know how you get it. Like, do you download a torrent? Do I need a flash drive? Am I gonna print out acid? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how it works. So, Silk Road out of business. Sorry to all the drug addicts listening. And by drug addicts listening, I mean me when I listen back to this. We'll get some music stuff, I swear. Back after this.
Hey everybody, this is Andy from the Andy Dare Show. Just thanking you for checking out the Jay Porks Experience. If you want to learn more about Jay, follow him on Twitter at JayPorks. Follow him on Instagram at JayPorks. JayPorks.com for the podcast, articles, pictures, you name it. There's a running theme here. It's Jay Porks. So for 2015, if you want to support the Dare Podcast Network, all you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com and click on the Amazon banner, and you will be tipping your cap to the Jay Porks Experience and all the fine broadcasting here at Dare Network. Thanks for listening, and back to the Jay Porks Experience.
And we are back. All right, folks. Every week, you know as well as I do that the headlines are always powered by AnnieQuiet. AnnieQuiet.com, your source for quality. The Fun Fest 2015. Headline says the lineup lives up to its name. I'm going to open it up and decide that for myself. Among the big names are Wu-Tang, Jane's Addiction, Chromeo, Ride, Cheap Trick is there, Churches is there, Churches with a V, so I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. Coheed and Cambria is there, L7 is there. Creepoid, I love Creepoid, I was talking about Creepoid. Who else is here? Off? Fucked Up? Fucked Up's a great band. I mean, they just painted themselves in the corner with the name. They're never gonna get on the radio with that name. Cass McCombs, I know Cass McCombs because I saw him open for the Meat Puppets, and I saw Cass McCombs and his band cover fucking Unforgiven by Metallica. Fucking cool as fuck. But I'll read the thing here. Austin's own Fun Fest is entering their 10th year of existence, and to celebrate, they've announced an incredible lineup with reunion acts that you will be hard pressed to find anywhere else, like L7, Dag Nasty, and Babes in Toyland. The festival will also be home of Venom's only U.S. show. You can even see Jane's Addiction play Ritual Delo Habitual in full right before your eyes. You could. I didn't see Babes in Toyland down there. Skinny Puppy? What year is this that Skinny Puppy is still a thing? Alright, so there's that. Fun Fest. It's going to be fun in Austin. And you can check that out. Also, up on AQ, there's a new Refused song. Frankafrick. And it's via The Guardian, comes in a new shape of punk, and I don't think we could have possibly seen coming. There's that. Also on a couple of things from Rolling Stone here. New Eminem song. Hear Eminem's hard-hitting Southpaw song, Phenomenal. So there's that. Makes reference to Cypress Hills, how I could just kill a man, as well as Southport itself. With the rapper touting, I write with the left. Same hand I hold the mic with as I fight to the death. I am yet to listen to it. I'll listen to it tonight. And the Pixies, while I was on Rolling Stone, I looked down. The Pixies prepping about a dozen tunes for an upcoming record. They premiered a new song called Chagalaga. Chagalaga. And it's not recorded yet, unheard, unreleased. Frank Black says we're trying to find our sound right now. Who had to put together a bunch of demos and give them to the band to figure out which would work as Pixies songs. Joe Santiago says that they've ruled out doing everything acoustic, but they're still experimenting. The songs are so new that when Francis suggests playing Down to Tolman, Santiago shudders. I'm just not ready for that one, he says. It's still in his tummy, that one. Yeah, what is this, a Rolling Stone exclusive session? Kim Deal's not in the band anymore, Black Francis said. We liked Nacho Libre, and she was not into it. I don't know. I don't get what that means. But you can check out Pixies music that you haven't heard before and some Pixies music that you have heard before, including Planet of Sound, over at rollingstone.com. Also, this is what really got me today. Chris Cornell is touring solo again. And I gotta be honest with you. If somebody was to ask me what the best show I ever went to was, the best concert I ever went to in my almost 100 I've ever been to, of all the great bands and great times I've had, that one night, April 12th, 2011, I want to say. What, 2012? When I sat in Town Hall with Pam and watched Chris Cornell do solo acoustic songbook, it was magic, man. I felt like I was holding my breath for 2 hours. It was great. And now it's happening at the Beacon Theater, and I can so get on board with that. I saw tickets at like 40 something dollars. I am down with that. It's on a Friday. I usually can't get off, but you know what? I'm going to try because Chris Cornell, I almost screamed when I saw this. I was fucking pumped. Because he's releasing a new acoustic solo out. No, he's got a new album titled Higher Truth. And it will be out on September 18th. So he's going to tour starting September 20th. Smart. That smart guy Chris Cornell is. So if they're hitting lots of 5 dates in California, Seattle, Vancouver, Denver, Kansas, Minneapolis, Chicago, Andy, get there. Lakewood, Ohio, Toronto, Buffalo, New Brunswick, New Jersey, Maryland, Philly, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Beacon Theater, Boston, Wilmington, Delaware, York, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee, Miami, St. Petersburg, Dallas, Texas, and ending things at Austin City Limits Live at the Moody Theater, November 2nd in Austin, Texas. Chris Cornell, solo tour. I think it's acoustic. It has to be acoustic, right? Hey, if he can play electric, I'm down. I'm down with whatever. I just want to go to the damn show. We're like less than a month out from me seeing the Meat Puppets, and the Meat Puppets are coming to your town. The Meat Puppets are coming to where you live. They're gonna be all over the place. It kicks off June 5th, First Ave in Minneapolis. And you can go to themeatpuppets.com/tour, and there is a link to purchase tickets to every show that is up there right now. I know that because I did that personally the other night. Some dates have leaked from there's a Denver date out there, and that is unconfirmed. We don't know. I mean, I have not been told that it's happening. It is not on Soul Asylum's Facebook page. No, it's not on Soul Asylum's Facebook. It's not on Soul Asylum's website. And the reason I checked is because it's a co-headlining tour. All right. Couple of headlines for you. Chris Cornell. All right, we're gonna do some emails here. Couple. We'll just do a couple. Because I thought not doing the emails for a couple of weeks would have me have a bunch of emails, but it didn't happen. I only have the regular handful that I normally have. And if I was somebody, I'll say this all the time, if I was somebody who was able to get in touch with Be Real from Cypress Hill, or anybody from the Roar Funky Field Tips family, I want to do a lot. My email segment would be sponsored by Funky Field Tips. Roar's Funky Field Tips, providing a smooth smoking experience to the cannabis connoisseur. And that would be the sponsor, but I can't get in touch with anybody. Nobody answers my emails. There aren't Funky Field Tips on the East Coast. I can be the guy who spreads the word about that out here. So if anyone knows Be Real, let me know, and let him know that I want to sponsor. I want Funky Field Tips to sponsor my email segment. But they don't yet, so we're doing it pretend. This one comes from Joyce. What do you think of the Blue Lives Matter protests happening in the adjacent disenfranchised cities? I don't think disenfranchised was the word you were looking for, but I get what you're saying. Blue Lives Matter? They do. But, well, no, but. Blue Lives Matter. But here's the thing. I know, Blue Lives Matter means that police lives matter. And they do. But people who say Blue Lives Matter, it's really a translation to fuck black people. That's what they want to say. So I would respect you more if you just came out and said, you know what, I don't like black people. Because that's what you're saying. I saw something they're protesting in Baltimore, so a bunch of white people went to where they were protesting to protest against them. How does that work? Like, two wrongs make a right? Like, if I give someone chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla ice cream, am I going to come back and give them more chocolate ice cream to make up for it? Like, if the people who say Blue Lives Matter are upset about these people protesting, and they think that they're tearing up the town, then don't you think protesting wouldn't be something that they would do? You know what? The biggest farce of this country, the biggest farce of America, is racial equality. The biggest lie that you have been told is that we are all equal as races. We're not. I wish we were. You thought that when Martin Luther King gave the speech, you thought that did it? No. No, it didn't. Because there are still people out there that protest things like Blue Lives Matter. Cops shouldn't die because they're here to protect us. So, to say that is stupid. That's like saying, I need air. Yeah, you do. You also need food and water. I just don't get it. I mean, just come out and say, fuck black people. That's what you want to say. That's what you want to say because you've never been around black people. And I get this on Staten Island too. You know what it is? It's a bunch of people that have never, like, when they see somebody who might be black, they, oh my God, look over there. It's a black guy. Look at the black guy over there. Like, they start whispering to, dude, people are different colors and races and different sexes. And if they want to change sexes, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, so like I know black people. I know them. I know of them. I'm equal to them. Other people don't see it that way. I know that you might be listening and say, Jay, what are you talking about? I'm not racist. I didn't say you were racist. You're not. You're probably not. First of all, you're listening to my podcast, so you're probably not racist because you like me. How can you hate anybody? But like, don't tell people how to protest. That's like telling people how to celebrate religion. I mean, that's like how to tell people how to grieve. Don't, if somebody's protesting, let them fucking protest. Don't go over there and say, well, cops' lives also matter. Yeah, nobody said kill police. Nobody said that. Unless it was like a rap song. Unless it was fucking straight out of Compton. That wasn't said. And they didn't even say kill, they said fuck the police. Fuck the police is a lot different than kill the police. And I got no beefs. The only beef's like Blue Lives Matter. Please. Please. We'll go to another email right here because I'm getting mad about this. Bill is asking, Jay, do you go on tour with the Meat Puppets? If so, are you going overseas? Are you kidding me? No, actually, I don't because I don't need to, and I can't afford to, and what would I do? I mean, I'm the internet guy. I'm the social media guy. I can do it from anywhere as long as they're telling me to do it. I did go to, I went to Denver a couple of years ago, but that they had legal pot too. That helped. It's funny, I can't save up like $10. I mean, like, it's so hard for me to save money. Holding on to money and saving money is very hard for me. I never have money. They legalized pot in Denver. I was there in like a week. Funny how that worked out. It's just, story of my life is that everything is pot. Everything. And it's fine with me. Blue Lives Matter. So no, I don't go on tour with the Meatball. I'm not even like good at that stuff. Like, I see Danny Roadie Danny. I see him hooking, like, setting up stuff. I can't do that. I mean, I don't want to sell merch. I mean, I like to hang out by the merch, but like, if you sell merch, then when the show starts, who's watching the merch? I want to watch the show. But no, I don't need, and I have a regular job. I'm a waiter. I need to be a waiter. I can't take off extended periods of time to go on tour with a rock band, although I would love it. When I was, a couple of years ago, I had this idea that, like, if I ever fell into some money, I would follow them on tour, like, on my own. Like, if they were going to another town, okay, and I would just follow along in my own entity and do, like, a little tour diary and write a book called On Tour with the Meat Puppets. So if you know any publishing companies that want to front me some money to do that, I would love to. But the answer is no, and I don't need to because I'm social media. That's what I love about social media. Watch the whole show on Periscope. We'll get to one more email here because because my imaginary time limit is running up. Andy's nice enough to give me as much time as I need. So I'll do what I can. This one comes from Frank. Jay, are those wrestling tweets from you I'm reading? There was a couple. I'll explain it to you. All right, so a couple of in March, or was it April? late March, maybe April 1st, whenever WrestleMania was. I spoke about WrestleMania on the podcast. Whenever WrestleMania was, my friend Chach was telling me about how he has WWE Network, and WWE Network, you $10 a month and you get the pay-per-view for free. Okay, so I challenged him. I said, listen, I'm going to find this on Twitter. I'm going to find a link to it live, and I will be watching it for free from my house. And I did. Then, the night after, I saw somebody retweeted Stone Cold's podcast. Stone Cold Steve Austin has a podcast where he breaks down what happened on the pay-per-view and on whatever Raw, whatever happened. So okay, so I was listening to Stone Cold break down Sting versus Triple H. I was kind of I kind of thought it was cool. And then I was on YouTube in the side little suggestion bar thing, and I saw that Jim Ross has a podcast. Good old JR. So I turned that on for a little while. Next thing you know, I haven't watched wrestling in over 10, 15 years, but I'm listening to the wrestling podcasts, and I'm interested. Now, I turned Raw on a couple of weeks ago. I don't recognize I don't know who any of these people are. So I can't tell you that, yes, Jay Porks watches wrestling religiously. No, I don't. But I watched it up until I started having sex, I think. Like, Attitude Era, like, I probably stopped watching like 2002, 2003. That said, okay, fast forward to now. After getting the taste at WrestleMania, I said, damn, it would be great if I can watch all those. Because binge watching television has changed the game. So I was thinking, what if I found a website that had every episode of Monday Night Raw ever? And what if I was able to watch that? Binge watch Monday Night Raw. Like, instead of watching it every week and waiting for the next week, what if I was able to knock out, like, in a month, I can knock out 2 years worth of Monday Night Raws in a month if I watch 2 a day. 1 year. So the story goes on. So after I said, let me try to find this, I found a YouTube channel that had every Monday Night Raw from 1996. This is Shawn Michaels after the Iron Man match has the title basically for the next couple of months. So I watched all those. Then I got to the end of 96. Come to find out, that channel did not continue into 1997. I was tight. I was tighter than a virgin the night before prom. 8th grade prom, not high school prom. Not these days. Come on, it's 2015. So I got so mad that I couldn't continue to binge watch Monday Night Raw because I'm a fucking weirdo. Because listen, I binge watch shows that I've seen before. Like, I watched Breaking Bad like 3 or 4 times. I've binge watched it straight through. Now, I've seen the episodes, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch it again. So wrestling is something that there's no reruns. It's not in syndication. It's not like Seinfeld where there's 5 episodes on a day every day. It's not like they're going to re-show that episode of Monday Night Raw. I've only seen all of these episodes once. So I was looking for it, and plus I got no shows to watch. So my friend tells me, you know what? It's on WWE Network. I said, what do you mean? He said, every episode of Raw is on WWE Network. So I did a little research into WWE Network, and after 5 minutes of research, they have my money. It's $10 a month, okay? Again, state this again, haven't watched wrestling since 2003. My credit card has been charged for WWE Network. That thing is better than Netflix. Let me explain to you what they have. They have 24 hours of programming. 24 hours. There's something always on WWE Network. Right now, they have the Monday Night War documentary. That's on at 12:06. There's a 20-part 20-part documentary on the Monday Night Wars between WCW Nitro and Monday Night Raw. From the 3 years that they went, or the 4 or 5 years before Vince McMahon bought WCW. 20-part documentary. Okay. And yes, there's an entire documentary on the Divas. And you might want to check that out. They've got every episode of Monday Nitro ever. They've got every episode of Monday Night Raw. They've got every pay-per-view that has ever happened on demand for you to watch. Every pay-per-view ever. They've got their own. They've got the Total Divas show. You know, if you're into like wrestling now, they've got the NXT show. They've got Total Divas. They also have, which I watched last night. Stone Cold has a sometimes Stone Cold has his own podcast that he hosts from the Broken Skull Ranch in Texas from his house, and he's pretty good at it for somebody that does nothing but drink beer and kick ass. But or sometimes, I don't know how many times, but like last night, after Monday Night Raw on WWE Network was the Stone Cold podcast, and it was, you know, video version. He sat there and he sat down with an hour, talked with Paul Heyman. Interesting stuff, except when it kind of seemed like they were gonna build Stone Cold Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. I don't why. Like, I think that Stone Cold Steve Austin could beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's an animal. And I'm also not a fan of what they're going to do Sting Undertaker. Not a fan because Sting's 50-something years old. He only wants one more match. You know he's going to lose. Taker's not going to put Sting over at Mania. That's not going to happen. He's not going to lose a second time. He's not going to put WCW guy over. And he's not going to let Sting beat him and then retire beating The Undertaker. Streak shouldn't have ended. And it's going to be in some form or another at Mania. It's going to be Rock, Triple H. I'm not, maybe a mixed tag match with The Rock and Ronda Rousey and Triple H and Stephanie. I don't really know. So, yes. Yeah. I have WWE Network, and I've been binge watching Attitude Era Monday Night Raws. And if you're interested in what I'm up to right now, tonight, after I do the notes for the podcast, I will be watching the 290th episode of Monday Night Raw that aired December 14th, 1998. 2 days before my birthday. That went a little long. Again, I don't even watch it. I don't even watch wrestling. This is so worth it. They've got original program. I'm telling you, man. And here's what you do. Just sign up for it and then cancel, and you can have it for the month. And a pay-per-view is $40. So if you pay $10, you get the free pay-per-view. So I was watching that Elimination Chamber the other night, and I almost fell asleep. And shout-outs to Mark Henry for still being, you know, on the face of this earth. The hell? He's still a wrestler? That's great. Because from those 1996 Monday Night Raws I was watching, it was like Mark Henry vignettes, and they were showing how he was the world's strongest man. And he wrestled Jerry the King Lawler. When did Jerry the King Lawler become a babyface? Bring back JR because Michael Cole can't announce. And that's all I'm going to do on that. If Billy Corgan's got some cool story ideas, maybe I'll be watching a little TNA soon too. If they get back on TV. Alright, guys. Before I get up on out of here, I'm going to give you the list of websites you need to go to help keep me in business. First and foremost, there is always place I was born and bred. ConcertConfessions.com. That's for all your live music, news, and reviews for the fans, by the fans. And I'll be back. I'll be back with reviews for you soon. I might do 3 shows in 3 nights. I've only done that once, and I was younger. Also, you can go to ChristinaRocks.com, hang the DJ, 89xradio.com every Sunday morning for old school alternative. It's the only place you're getting 4 hours of awesome old school alternative rock, courtesy of the coolest cucumber in the salad, Christina Rocks, up in Detroit. Love it. Also, AndyDeer.com, that's headquarters. That's where you get the J Porks Experience. That's where you get the Andy Deer Show, which is the flagship show. That's also where you get the Tyler Cale Show, or, new to the Deer Network, Spin Class with Tyler and Andy. Give it a listen. Cool stuff. And of course, every week, our headlines, they be powered by Annie Quiet. Till next week, folks. Whiskey, weed, and Warren Zevon. Late.
This has been the J Porks Experience. Thank you so much for listening.